Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to our presentations. I'm from Group 1 and I'm here to tell you that Group 1 will talking about COVID-19, its impact, and how to fight it. If you have any questions, please save them for the end of the presentations. First of all, before we starting our presentations, I would like to introduce my group members. The first one is Abdul Wahid Wartabone, Aldi Muhammad Hairul Haq, Dimas Muhammad Hilman, Gibraltar Andibia Muhammad, Rizky Faisal Aziz, and the last one is me, Siti Zahra Akila Hanif. By the way, our group has divided the presentations into 6 parts. The first part is the beginning and the development of cases of the COVID-19. The next one is the social impact of COVID-19. The third one is the political impacts of COVID-19. Fourth, cases, examples, and explanations. Fifth, government's efforts in dealing with COVID-19. And the last one is what should be done by Indonesian people to reduce the number of COVID-19. At the end, we hope that we have time to answer all of your questions. Thank you. Enjoy our presentations. The first things I want to explain is about the beginning and the development cases of COVID-19. It was all started at December 31st, 2019, when China reported to WHO their first case of pneumonia, which is have similar symptoms with COVID-19, but the WHO hasn't discovered yet about COVID-19 virus. And then the next month, exactly on the 1st January 2020, China, especially in Wuhan, China, closed their seafood market because they think that the virus comes from that place. And then on the January 7th, the WHO named after the disease 2019 nCoV. On the 13th January or January 13th, 2020, Thailand reported their first case of 2019 nCoV to WHO. And then the next country is Japan. Japan reported their first case of 2019 nCoV to WHO on January 16th, 2020. On January 20th, 2020, China reported 139 new cases of 2019 nCoV to WHO. And then the last one, on January 21st, 2020, Washington, D.C. reported their first case of 2019 nCoV case to WHO. And the next month, February 2nd, 2020, Philippines reported their first death case because of 2019 nCoV. On the February 11th, 2020, the WHO changed the virus name from 2019 nCoV to COVID-19. On February 14th, 2020, France and Egypt reported their first death case because of COVID-19. And then the last one, on the February 29th, 2020, United States reported their first death case because of COVID-19. On the next month, on March 2nd, 2020, Indonesia announced 2 people positive COVID-19. On the March 3rd, 2020, Iran confirmed 23 parliamentarians positive COVID-19. And then, on the March 11th, 2020, Italy set travel restrictions for keeping safe the Italian people from COVID-19. And then, the last one, at the March 11, 2020, Indonesia reported the first death case because of COVID-19. And WHO stated officially COVID-19 is a world pandemic, while other countries such as Turkey, Cote d'Ivoire, Honduras, and Bolivia announced their first case of COVID-19. And then the next month, on April and May the coronavirus spreading almost all over the world, and almost every country doing social distancing and lockdown their countries for keeping the people safe, for keeping the people healthy, and for reducing the number of COVID-19. This point can be seen more clearly in a visual form. So let's have a look at the COVID-19 distribution map. From the map, we can see that the COVID-19 has really messing up with our world. The COVID-19 has spread all over the world, such as United States, England, France, Germany, Turkey, Honduras, Bolivia, Russia, China, Japan, India, Australia, and then Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and many other countries. COVID-19 has really messed up our world. So many people suffering with COVID-19. COVID-19 has causing many people die because of it. Like hundreds of thousands people die because of COVID-19. 3 million confirmed cases of COVID-19 around the world, and then tens of thousands people infected by coronavirus or COVID-19 virus daily, like every day new cases. There is tens of thousands new cases around the world. Other visual form that I want to show you is Indonesia COVID-19 distribution map. As you can see from the map that the COVID-19 has almost spreading all over Indonesia, but fortunately, the government has made some new rules that Indonesian people can't go back to their hometown. They have to stay wherever they are, locking down themselves in their own homes and doing social distancing with other people. From that maps, there is 3 numbers, confirmed numbers of COVID-19, and then cured numbers of COVID-19, and then the numbers of people killed by COVID-19. The confirmed cases in Indonesia is 13,645 people confirmed have a positive COVID-19, and this is I think it's high enough numbers. I hope that these numbers reduce. And then the next one is the cured number is 2,607 people cured from COVID-19 virus. This is a good number, but I think it's not really good because many people still in the positive status. I hope that the positive status change into the cured status. And then the third number is the number of people killed by coronavirus, 959 people. This is a really high for me, and I hope that the death number is stopping that there, not increasing anymore. So that is all the explanation from point the beginning and the developments of cases of COVID-19. And then now let's turn to point social impact from COVID-19, and it will be explained by my friends.
I want to explain about the social impact of coronavirus outbreak. Coronavirus, as an easily spreading virus, has a very big social impact. Every person have to limit their interaction with another just to minimize the risk of themselves contracting the virus. Therefore, every activity has to be limited by the government. Government has placed a lockdown in many places to prevent the virus to spread more and more, and further crippling the country situation. That's it for the social impact of coronavirus outbreak. Now let's turn to my friend.
Good afternoon. So today I'm going to continue my friend's presentation. And here I'm going to talk about the third point in our presentation, which is about how this pandemic of coronavirus affect the political aspect. So before I go future to the political itself, maybe first I have to explain what is the definition of politics. So based on book which, which was written by Professor Miriam Budiarjo, book named Dasar-Dasar Ilmu Politik, which is our general book in Faculty of Social and Political Science. We get this kind of lesson uh, when we were in first semester. We got the courses named Pengantar Ilmu Politik, so we also uh, learn about this definition. So I have to explain first the definition of politics itself. Politics is an effort to create a better life, and in the politics, we also have the terminology of power. So politics is related to power. Politics is really, really related to the power itself. Uh, how can an institution or government organization or maybe individuals create a better life? So basically, when we talk about politics, it's not only about government, but everyone, every organization, every institution which have this kind of power is uh, able to change or to affect the policies. So how can politics create a better life? Politics create a better life with certain policies. This kind of policies is made by them who have the power. Power is an ability that certain people or certain institution, government, or anything have to control to change the policy. So politics create better life by change or making the new policy. So let's we move to some policies that the government and the other authorities do to give us an adaptation for facing this pandemic. So in Indonesia, in our country, the government is trying to make various efforts to reduce the impact of coronavirus. And the most important thing that government has told us to do is social distancing. So we all know about this word, social distancing, and we also know that social distancing is very, very important. Why this is important? Because the purpose of social distancing itself is to reduce the possibility between infected people and other people who are not infected. So social distancing is the most important thing that we have to do, that the government told us to do. And this is also the most important policy that the government, even the United Nations, World Health Organization, told us to do because uh, the scientists and all the experts says that social distancing is very, very effective for us to reduce this pandemic, even to destroy this pandemic. So the first one of the policies that government and the other authorities have made is social distancing. And second, in our country, uh, by the time this coronavirus came to our country, our government have been doing this uh, policy, which is uh, income tax is insured by government. So, uh, what is this policy? This policy says that regular income received by employees earning 200 million rupiah a year working for companies affected by the coronavirus pandemics gets income tax article. So this is like an uh, we call it subsidy for the government to with those people who affected by the coronavirus. So this policy also have been made by the government since this coronavirus came to our country. And the third policy is electric subsidies. So this is a policy to reduce electricity costs. So to help people, and most important is poor people. This is a policy that government do to help them to reduce the electricity costs because uh, we know that as long as we still in our house doing working from home or uh, online lecture like online lecture work from home and many kind of activities that we do it at home, maybe it can also affect the cost of the electricity to become much expensive because we use it more often. But don't be worried about that because our government uh, has give this kind of subsidies to us uh, to help the citizens reduce their uh, their uh, cost of electricity, so they can save their money. Uh, so that's all from the political aspect, and then I will bring this presentation to my next friend. Thank you.
My name is Abdullah Wartabone and I'm going to present the cases due to COVID-19 in Indonesia. So the first, according to the Ministry of Finance of Republic of Indonesia, Sri Mulyani, in the first 3 months of 2020, import activities in Indonesia were decreased 3.7% year to date. So besides COVID-19, this condition is also caused by the trade war between the US and the China and also some geopolitical conflicts, but still COVID-19 is the biggest factor of it. So the second, because the import activities were decreased, then the inflation happened. So it has reached the number of 2.96% year on year. So the third case, there are more than 1.5 million employees were laid off. So 90% of them were have to I'm sorry. So 90% of them have to work from home, and then the rest 10% have to deal with the termination. So this obviously will decrease their income, and this will impact their lives. And as we can see that nowadays many people have to decide to go back to their hometown, or simply because they have only two options. First, they have to go back to their own hometown, or they will live in a capital city but have to deal with the condition where really hard, and they will have difficult lives in the capital city. So unfortunately, the fourth case is the government has to limit and stop the travel into whether it's intercity or inter provinces. So these people have to deal with the condition that they cannot go back to their hometown, so they have to still stay in the capital city, and then they have to face the problem which is caused by the pandemic of COVID-19. So the next case is the travel were limited, and then there are around 12,000 flights were cancelled, so the country's income in the transportation sector were decreased also. So this is actually the economic impact of COVID-19. So beside economic, beside what I have explained before, in the sixth case, the tourism sector was also impacted from COVID-19. I'm sorry. So the tourism sector also impacted by was also impacted by the COVID-19, because as what reported, so there are around 6,000 tourists were decreased every day. So as you can see that in the tourism sector, the tourists actually there are so many tourists come to Indonesia, but then because this COVID-19, the amount of tourists has decreased. And the seventh, not only in the economic and in the tourism sector, the COVID-19 also give impact to the psychological and mental health. So as you can see, and as we can see from the social medias or from the mass medias, there are many patients of COVID-19 feel excluded from their social lives, and then they're screaming in the hospital. They try to attack the doctors, and also it can be in a suicide. So well, this can explain that COVID-19 not only give impact to the economy, to the politics, to the sector of tourism, but also in the sector of psychological and mental health. And the eighth case is, as you can see, that many COVID patients try to escape themselves from try to escape themselves from hospital, and this absolutely frightens the society, because the society out there feel frightened, because they don't want to be they don't want to get this COVID-19 in their bodies. So when they heard the patient of COVID-19 try to escape from hospital, this absolutely will be really bad for them. This is gonna be a bad news for them. And the ninth case of COVID-19 the ninth case due to COVID-19 is the panic buying. So as we can see that people are buying hand sanitizer, mask, and foods in a big amount. So well, the impact is really what is it? So the poor people has a very 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 bad impact of this, because they can only deal with the condition. They don't have enough money to buy food, they don't have enough money to buy hand sanitizer and masks. So the poor people has the most bad has the worst impact of this COVID-19. And the last, it's not only in the economy, not the political, and also not only the sector of tourism, transportation, psychological, but also educational sector has changed. So nowadays students have to work from home, have to study from home, and some of them are facing problems. So for example, they are having no access to the internet, they have no money to buy the internet quotas, or even they have no medias like laptops or gadgets. So I think COVID-19 has given a lot of impacts towards our lives, and even in many sectors, like for example from the economy, politics, and tourism, transportation, psychology, and education. So I think individuals, I mean, like we as the citizens of Indonesia, and also the government, has to work together to fight this COVID-19. Well, but actually, what has been done by the government? So this part is going to be explained by my friend Dimas. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Dimas Muhammad Hilman, and I will talk about the government's efforts in dealing with COVID-19. As we all know, in this pandemic situation, the governments highly restrict the physical activity in society by establishing some regulations such as PSBB, which stands for Pembatasan Sosial Berskala Besar, Work from Home, and Intercity Travel Restrictions to keep people do the self-quarantine and physical or social distancing protocols. And the purpose is to reduce and suppress the spread of virus itself. And the government's also preparing the public property like Wisma Athlete as the emergency hospital, so there are more rooms can be used for the patients of COVID-19. Talk of government's efforts naturally leads us to society efforts to tackling the COVID-19.
Hello, my name is Adi Muhammad Hairul Haq, and I will present about a society effort in tackling COVID-19. And so in the beginning, I want to highlight that the COVID-19 caused a lot of disadvantage to the people life, especially the low income class. And therefore, people who have insufficient wealth and a kind intention will try to help each other. They have a lot of way and various way and different way to help, but most commonly, sharing food is the one of the most popular. Why it's happened? Because first, it's simple, cheap, and useful. We all know that food is the one of the basic need of survival, and so by sharing food, we try to solve their problem, that's to eat. And a lot of the problem is caused by starving, so the helper tried to understand the main problem. And so we always see that some helper will share their food in the side of the street, public space, or in the slum area. And most of the target is a beggar, homeless people, or poor people. Second way is by make some fundraising event, but this always oftenly made by a public figure who have a lot influences to most of the people. As an example, there's a very good concert by a musician in Indonesia called Di Rumah Aja concert by Narasi TV, which owned by a famous people too, Najwa Shihab. And this concert is trying to sing a very empowered song for COVID-19 victim or people who got a very serious impact, and it seems very empowering this worst condition. And then the concert was very successful because they success to produce a 13 billion rupiah so far, and it's very big money to donate. And so it's indicate that a lot of Indonesian people still have very kind heart, and creativity make the fundraising more effective with the more output And it seems that Indonesian people love creative production that will make them to donate more. That is all for me, and the next topic will be presented by my friends. Thank you. After we see the presentation, our group will conclude that COVID-19 is a dangerous disease. It's a dangerous virus. Why? Because it causes a lot of the impact, and most importantly, physical and mental health. But it also affects a lot of the conditions such as economy, social, and political impact. And mostly it's a bad impact. And so that we need to avoid the worst condition. How we can solve this problem? The answer is the good collaboration between the government and the people. Why? Because the good collaboration, a good teamwork, will make the virus gone rapidly, as well as the spreading time. And then so we can make a more effective containment policy, and so that we can back to the old normal more fast, and we can also normalize all of the wrong things in this situation. And that is from us. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your attention. Have a great day and stay healthy.